tiny miniature horse there, tied up to this old school ring here on the curb, which a lot of these date back to the early 1900s. How the heck are you, Kreepers? So back in the, like I said, late 1900s, a lot of people would tie their horses up right here to these little metal brackets right here on the curbs, and somebody made a little horse here to show where it once may have been tied up. Now this is an actual art project in Portland called the Tiny Horse Project, but if you guys can see, these are these metal rings, and they're set up all along the sidewalk here. And if you look really closely, sometimes you can find these little miniature horses. And when you think of transportation in Portland, you automatically think about how spoiled we are with our cars and trains and buses and trams. Heck, we even have a Skyline type rail that runs. But I came up here today to show you guys some old school things here in Portland that I thought were really cool. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. And I'm going to kind of stay on the same, I don't know, same genre of the old school field today, just because I know there's a lot of history up in this area. Now, like I said, when you think of like our transportation probably being one of the best in the nation, you don't think about how it all originated was basically people with horses and carriages. But let's check this out real quick. This looks like the Gulch Bridge, Northwest Thurman Street at McCleary Park. Estimated 1905, and if you guys can see, they've got these giant pine cones up top here too, to give kind of a feel to what the bridge is surrounded by. And just basically the beautiful scenery as you walk over the bridge down into Forest Park, which is just right over here. But there's a couple more old school, really cool relics just right up the street here that I want to take you guys to. And I thought that after all these years to see some of these things that still stand and kind of go back and look at some of the old school photos, that I'll definitely try and leave either in the description or the comment section. That way you guys can kind of pull up how things have changed. But this bridge has been here for a while, if you can see. It gives you an incredible view of Portland into the northwest, looking east. And then if you look over here, like I said, this goes up into Forest Park. But what I wanted to show you guys just sits right up here along the sidewalk, and that is, well, on first inspection, at first glance, I thought, oh, how cool is it that they have one of these set up here for the homeowners, you know, that might want to walk their dogs and catch a drink themselves. But as I glanced more at it, I realized that it's basically a relic. And this is one of the first ones I've ever seen in Portland. Now, I did research a little bit, and there was basically maybe two, I believe, left in Portland total. But one was vandalized, and throughout the years they have fixed it. There's another one of these pine cones too here, you guys. And I just love some of these houses up in here too. They're just beautiful, which will lead us to our next little jaunt after we check this out. So I'm standing here on the corner of Northwest 31st Avenue in Thurman. Morning.
Morning.
And if you guys can see, this is what I wanted to show you. And this is dubbed the Willamette Heights Drinking Fountain. And if you guys can see right down in here, would be like the tiny little mouthpiece. It's almost, you know, perfect for any animal, but more specifically, if you can see that it's rounded, almost like a horse's mouth on the top, and then they can go ahead and get them a drink as they're walking along. And they've actually given a little bit more info here. And if you guys can see, serving dogs, people, horses. A gift from the neighbors in December of 1916. So not only for you to catch a little drink here as you're enjoying the scenery, which I think I'll do right now. That's refreshing. So that's pretty cool that this still exists here. Like I said, from the 1900s. That's pretty amazing to think that at one point people would have their horses and carriages walk along here. You could maybe even see, like we just saw, some of the rings along the sidewalk. Maybe they were even tied up along here. But this major thoroughway right here, Thurman, was used for a lot of travel, apparently for horses. So how cool is that, you guys? That this still exists after all these years, and you can tell it's pretty solid. There's some cracks in it and whatnot, but how incredible that this has managed to basically help everyone that's come through here and enjoy Northwest Portland. I love it. But we're gonna creep up here just a little bit farther because there's another really cool, kind of old school, well, it is old school, not kind of old school, house that still exists as well. That was used as a horse stable throughout the years, just right up here, one more block. And they have kept the design basically the same throughout the years. Now it's changed over the years as well. Obviously it's got to keep up with the times, but after it was considered to be a horse stable for many years is where the trolleys and the streetcars would basically run up and down here as well. And Thurman was used as a major street to get up and down Northwest 23rd, 21st Avenue with all the shopping districts. And I believe if you look along the sidewalk, or not along the sidewalk, but along the streets on some of the blocks, you can still see remnants of where the tracks would have been. But we're gonna creep right up here because I want to show you guys this awesome house that basically you can tell where it sits. The houses are still pretty historic, but they're definitely newer than this place that I'm going to show you guys, and it kind of ties into all the horse carriages and fountains and everything that we've looked at so far. So I thought that was so cool that a lot of these properties kind of stayed the same look. Now if you can see here, this one similar, where you could tell at one point maybe this was a barn or maybe a stable of some point, and they've got the old school doors with the brick, and I love the old school lighting. So a lot of these homes, like I said, are really beautiful, but this one more specifically is what I wanted to show you guys. And if you can see, like I said, the front is basically the facade of what used to be a horse carriage, a horse stable, if you will. If you guys can see, kind of the doors are domed as like a stable, and then this may have been used, this entire section at one point, to host some of Portland's trolley cars. So how cool is that, you guys, that amongst the hustle and bustle of the city, with everything changing and like that so fast, that there are still remnants of the past that have maintained through all these years at the historic level. It's so cool. So cool to think that at one point, up and down these busy streets, before all these cars and trucks and buses, there were basically just horses and carriages that would take people to and fro. I think that is so cool. And if you guys can see, it's the whole entire building's brick, and with these being almost like a stable. So cool. Like I said, now we're spoiled with buses and stuff, and all kinds of different transportations and whatnot. But Portland has held on to a lot of its relics, and I think that is so cool that, like, to this day you can still come up here and find some of the old school horse rings. Some of the houses still resemble the old school look, not to mention that incredibly awesome fountain. So I'll keep this short. I appreciate you guys very much, as always, for tuning in for another edition of Creepin' with Klearski. I really appreciate it. And you guys can definitely do me one good and hit that little thumbs up button. That way I know you like the vlog. You can do me one better. You can share this video, maybe share it to somebody that you might think would appreciate some old school historic Portland history. And you can also ring that little bell. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. But I just wanted to take you back up here to, I love this part of the city, by the way. Northwest Portland is so beautiful. And we got spring coming. If you guys can see, somebody had even put on some of these little art tiles all along this wall here. Very cool. But that's gonna do it for, like I said, this edition with Creepin' with Klearski, and I appreciate you guys very much, as always, for tuning in. And with that being said, that's gonna do it from Northwest Portland. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the past meets future remnants of old Portland. But I'm gonna leave you guys with one more shot from one of these really cool old school kind of barns that has held its history. And with that being said, I love you guys. Thanks for creeping with Klearski. Peace, you guys.